On this episode of Country Boy Gas Garage, we're back working on this metal building, turning it into a tiny shop. So let's go. Well, welcome back to another episode of Country Boy Gas Garage. And my name's Jason, and in this video we're going to continue working on this metal building that we're turning into a tiny workable shop. We did the installation in the last video. Let me show you some clips from that and get you kind of caught up, and then I'll let you know where we're going from here. Built it with a small crew and set it up on my old property probably 12 years ago. But after I sold that property, moved out here, me and a couple friends disassembled this thing piece by piece, and I moved it all out here and been setting it back up. They're not quite complete, but without any insulation or wiring, this thing is just pretty much a storage shed. But it's time that we do something about that and start making this more of a habitable space. Originally built the structure, it was just a carport with no walls, and then I had bought in some more metal sheeting and did the walls. I also framed in a window back here, and I did insulate this wall and put some corrugated steel on there, and I also framed in an old door over here as well, but it is not insulated, and during the winter it just rains down ice from the ceiling and is just frozen in here, and of course during the summer it's blazing hot. So we're going to get some insulation, and what we've decided to use is 2-inch thick rigid insulation. Alright, there we go. I got all the panels up, and it's not perfect, but heck of a lot better than it was before. Get this shop up and running. I'm going to start working on the Field Fine 59. I can't wait. So yeah, we got it all insulated, except for the door that we still have to build. But in this video, we're going to be wiring the shop. We've got a fuse panel to put in. We got all the outlets and switches and lights. So that's what we're going to be working on. I did do a little bit since the last video, so let me kind of show you what I've been doing and get you caught up to where we're at here. Alright, well, I got the loft finished since the last video. I already got the insulation being stored up there. Yeah, it's going to come in really helpful with this tiny space to have some extra storage area up there. And I slapped up a sheet of plywood, and I've got room for some corrugated metal down below and above that we could put in at a later date, but this way we could mount some stuff, and I'll probably end up doing this all the way around the whole shop. But for now we're just working on this location because this is where we're installing the sub panel and running the outlets and switches. So this is where we're starting, and I got started already by installing the sub panel. I got it mounted up here, and now these already existed here from a previous shed that was built nearly in the same location as this building. I just had to trench them in and run them up here to the box. So thankfully this stuff was already here because these are pretty expensive and I didn't have to pay for those. And they were just about the same length. I did just have to trim them about a foot here after I ran them all inside like this. So next we're gonna have to start making some connections. But before we do that, we want to find out exactly where we want our light switches set, and our electrical outlets placed, and we've also got some lights that we're going to be installing. We got some high bay lights from Hyperlite, and of course I'll give you a closer look at those when we go to install them, but we're going to have to run an outlet up there to plug those into, and we're going to do all of these outlets and switches through a 1/2-inch conduit here. I've never done this before. This will be my first time running conduit. I've wired structures before, you know, in the more common way where you run them through the wall studs and recess all the outlets and what have you. But this situation, we're going to be running this 1/2-inch conduit over the walls. And yeah, it's the first time I've done that. I did pick up a cheap conduit bender. And I guess I'll start by placing all the outlets and switches where I believe they need to be, so then I could start piping the conduit to all those locations from the sub panel. Like I was saying, this is my first time running conduit and bending it, so I'm sure I'm going to make a few mistakes. And there's going to be more that I'm going to add to this at a later date. You know, I'm just going to do some basic lights and outlets right here, but at some point I'm going to put a, 220 outlet in here, and at some point I'll run outlets all the way down both walls. It's kind of a mess, but I got most of the components that we're going to be using laid out here on the table. I guess like I was saying, I'll start with placing the light switches and the outlets where I believe they need to be. I'm only doing a few of them now, and I'll have to add to it later. But we need to get some electricity in here and some lights ASAP. So let's get started. Oh, by the way, in case I didn't already mention it, these wires are not connected to anything on the other end. They just go through the conduit underground and up inside into the main panel, but they are not connected to anything, and they won't have electricity until I connect them to the breaker and then mount it in that box. So no worries about getting electrocuted right now. Just wanted to point that out. And I am by far a professional at doing any of this, so I advise not doing this yourself. I'm just doing what I'm doing to make it happen. So, all right, guys, let me show you where we're at. Now I started hanging all the boxes where they need to go. We got a couple light switch boxes up here. We're gonna have 4 switches, 2 for inside lights and 2 for outside lights. And then we also got some outlet boxes, 1 here and 1 at the end of the bench over there. Eventually I'm going to add more to these. I'm going to run some more conduit to another switch over there, and we'll extend that switch out farther too. And it's starting to hail. And even with the insulation in here, it still gets loud on that tin roof. But I mean, it's sunny outside and hailing at the same time. That's Oregon weather for you. We started off with snow this morning again, middle of April. Crazy weather we're having. Sunshine and hail at the same time. All right, back to it. So now that I've hung these outlet boxes everywhere, I'm installing these, which I've forgotten what they're called, but they're pretty much little connectors that'll come in here that we could lock the conduit into. And I've got most of them installed. Even up here in the box, I've been putting them up in here, and we got a few more to do, and that's what I'm working on now. We've got we're going to have a light switch here, which is going to run up above the door and go to a light right outside the door. This switch here, we're going to run up, over, and all the way up to that outlet up there, which we're going to plug the shop lights into. And then we're going to have another outlet here that's going to go up and over, which is going to go to some more outside lights. And then we're going to have this one that's going to go up and over to a switch right here. And this outlet, we're going to be able to plug in a power strip and stuff for lights above the workbench. So now I'm going to finish installing these little connectors. Let me set you up on the tripod and we'll start bending conduit. right, well, I got the main portion of the conduit bent and roughly in place. Let me show you. Yeah, so, well, obviously we got a lot more to run, but this is the main section of the conduit. And this is enough to get us electrified and some lights in here and complete this video. But down the road, we'll end up adding more, obviously. But, well, we got the beginning of our circuit for our outlets that are going this way. This will be our first junction with 2 outlets in there. And then we also got our first section of power going to our light switches. And then from here, like I was saying earlier, one goes over to a switched outlet there that we could plug in some lights over our workbench and what have you. And then this light switch next to that will go to the outside lights, which we still have to run more conduit and connect those and do some rewiring on those at a later date, but those will be switched there. And then over to this one, this will go for our inside shop lights right here. It goes all the way up and over and up to that outlet, which we'll be able to plug our shop lights into. And this final switch here goes up and over the door, where we'll end up installing a light outside, a floodlight or something there. But yeah, you know, eventually we'll run more outlets off of this circuit, and we're going to run another circuit going this way with some more outlets as well. And with that circuit, we'll tie in an outside outlet, so we'll be able to plug in stuff outside as well. Well, and also we got these all roughed into place. I want to get these all bracketed and strapped into place. That way they'll be nice and horizontal, and they'll look nice once we get them all clamped down. They're just kind of roughed in place now. So I guess next we're going to have to start running some wire through this conduit. And well, it's not going to be too hard on these short runs, but this longer run might be a little tricky. But we'll run some wire through the conduit and get them to all the junctions that we need to. That way we can start making some connections. Okay, I got started by feeding this Romex through the conduit. I had to do 2 circuits through this one, and it actually went really smooth. So I'm sure the rest of these are going to be pretty easy too. Maybe that last circuit going all the way up to the shop lights, that's kind of a long run. That one might be a little tricky. But let's get these wires ran. I'm just taking the Romex and feeding it up through the conduit. There. Now we got that one. Yeah, there we are. Now we're on to that last circuit going all the way up to the shop light there. You know, researching this, sometimes you have to blow or suck a string through the conduit, which you tie to the wires and then pull through. Pulling wires can get kind of tricky. So far this has been going so smooth, I'm hoping that that works as well. Feed this one through here. Not much restriction at all, it's just going. Hopefully. It's going way easier than I thought. Yeah, there we are. We're all the way up the top now. Wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. Well, now all we have to do is start splicing the ends and start making some of the connections of the outlets and the switches, and we'll be able to hook up the power to the circuit breaker and be electrified in here. Alright, got the first outlet wired in up there, and now we just need to continue wiring in the outlets over on this box, and then we'll start working on the light switches. Alright, I got the outlet all wired up. Also, this switched outlet up here is all wired in, and I've got the light switches to the upper shop lights there, and the switched outlet over there wired in. We've yet to hook up the power yet. I've got to hook up all these ends of the circuits to their circuit breakers. But first, before we do that, I got to actually hook up the incoming power and all that stuff. I'm not going to show that because, well, this isn't a how-to video, and there's plenty of videos out there on YouTube that show you how to do this from a proper electrician. So I'm going to go ahead and continue hooking up these connections, and then once I get that all done, I'll bring it back in and we'll run power to it and see if everything worked out. Alright, there's all the connections. Now you know we've got 4 circuits here. We got 2 30 amp circuits for each of the outlet runs and 2 15 amp circuits for the 2 shop light runs. We also got a spot right here that we can knock out and add this double pole 50 amp breaker when we're ready to wire in a 220 outlet here. But for now I'm going to use this on the main panel to connect this sub panel to. So let's do that. Alright, here we are at the main panel inside. I just wanted to show you the 2 lines that are going out to the sub panel there. And we're going to go ahead and connect those to this 50 amp double pole breaker. And we'll be able to snap it in there, and then we'll go outside and check to see if we have power in the sub panel. Alright, here we are back in the garage. And I went ahead and plugged this power strip up into this switched outlet. That would be this 50 amp circuit here. And then we'll go ahead and flip on the switch and see if it works. There it goes. So that's working. Oh yeah, if you were wondering, I only have the inside light switches done right now. We're still going to have to do the outside ones down the road. Now, for the real test is to hook up those shop lights and see how it looks when we flip those on. So let's take a closer look at those. Well, Hyperlite sent me these LED high bay lights, the Hero series. You know, I've worked with Hyperlite before when they sent me the outside shop lights. Well, now we're doing the inside shop lights, and they are very helpful. I told them the dimensions of the garage, and they figured out exactly how many I needed. They sent me 2 of these, and let me pull it out of the box and show you. They're really nice lights, LEDs. You know, so they don't take up a whole lot of space, but they put off a lot of light. Let me dig this out of the box and show you. Alright. Yeah, one thing about these that are super nice is that they just come with a plug-in, so there's not a whole lot of install or wiring to be done. These are a really cool design, the LEDs, so they don't get super hot, and they got these cooling fins to help. They don't use a whole lot of electricity, and they're super bright. They do come with this little hook attachment. Let me show you. So this here just screws into the back of the light here, and then we'll be able to hang it that way. Also comes with a little safety cable with a carabiner, I guess if you got high winds or what have you. So we'll go ahead and get this all put together, and we'll hang it up there and take a look at it. Alright, got them all installed. Looking good up there. But to see how bright they truly are, we're going to have to wait till tonight when it's dark to turn them on. Alright guys, here we are in the shop. Now it's nighttime. We got a little bit of light coming in from the outside shop lights, giving us a little bit of ambient lighting in here. But let's flip on the shop lights here and see how bright it really is. Dang! Boom! Let's go! Oh, we're not going to have any lighting issues in here. That's for sure. Dang! Alright, thanks Hyperlite. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Now we're making some good progress on this tiny shop build. It won't be long before we're in here working. Now of course we've got a lot more to go before we're finished wiring this up. But at least we got stage 1 done. We got the basics with lights and some outlets. We'll be expanding on all that, but at least now we can get in here and start working. Now I appreciate all you guys watching. And you know, I've said it before, You know, I wish I could get the videos out more often for you guys, but I'm pretty strapped for time with, you know, a job, family, and all the chores living up here in the mountains. You know, we're putting in gardens and building our home. We're having to chop and stack firewood. I mean, the list goes on and on. But that's really what's keeping me from coming in here and doing more of the car content. Which leads me to something I wanted to bring up. Some of you might remember that I do have a second channel. When this channel was deleted, which is a long story, and I've got a video that talks about that, but at one point my channel was hijacked and deleted, I started a second channel to be able to communicate with everybody during that time. Of course, since then I've regained this channel and continued making new videos, but I still have that other channel, CBGG2. I've got over 1,000 subscribers still there, and I haven't put any content out really, but I'm thinking maybe with all the chores and work that I've been doing around here to live in the mountains and build our home, maybe I make some videos of that and put it on that second channel. It'll have more to do with the family and behind the scenes, and like I was saying, building our home and our property. So, you know, if you're not already subscribed, go over to CBGG2 and subscribe to that channel, and be on the lookout for some more behind the scenes content, home and property building. I think that's what we're going to do on that second channel. Why don't you guys leave some feedback and some comments and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in or not. You know, I've got the second channel with over 1,000 subscribers. I'd hate to waste that. And the only thing I can think about is adding that other content that I'm doing in between the videos here. And I want to thank everybody again for sticking around and watching during these slower times and less interesting videos. You know, we're here for car content, not wiring a garage. But we'll get back to that, and I appreciate all you guys watching and subscribing. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'd like to give a huge shout out and thanks to all my members. You know, it's your monthly subscription that's going to help this channel continue to grow. You know, we're up to 31,000 subscribers, and we like to keep that growing if we could. So please consider joining in the membership of the channel and being part of the team. I know a lot of you started watching this channel because of the 48 Ford bus, and we're going to get back into that because, you know, spring and summertime is quickly approaching, and we got a few car shows and events that we'd like to show up and share the whole story. So we're going to have to get back into the bus and do a few videos. You know, we still have the gas tank that we need to restore and a few other miscellaneous items that we need to touch on. So expect some videos on the bus coming soon. Obviously, once we get the garage done, we're going to start working on the Field Find 59. But in the meantime, we're going to sprinkle in some videos of the bus and the Nova and some more garage builds. You know, we still have to finish the garage wiring, and we need to get some doors built for this thing. So be on the lookout for those videos as well. And once again, a big thanks to all my members and subscribers. I really couldn't do this without you guys, so I really appreciate it. So make sure you like, comment, and share with your friends. Until next time, peace.